Yes, welcome back, Lord. Yes, welcome back, Lord. Yes, welcome back, Lord. Welcome back, Lord. Yes, welcome back. Welcome back. Lord, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yes, welcome back, Father. Yes, welcome back, Father. Yes, welcome back, Lord. Welcome back, Lord. Welcome back, Lord. Yes, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Lord, thank you for waking me up to this hour, Lord. Thank you for watching over me thus far, allowing me to get some sleepies and some rest, Lord. And I just ask to the ones that are still sleeping and will be sleeping and go back to sleep around this time. You bless their dreams, Lord, and their minds, that you would encapture their hearts, Lord, in their inhabitations. Father, I pray that as I spend time with your children, that you would speak through me. Please anoint my mouth, Lord, and please give me your wisdom. And I ask that this will be less about me and more about you, Father. I ask that you would breathe life into the words you've given me, and that you would just comfort those who are watching, that you would give answers to those seeking you, Lord, and that you would just be found in the midst of your children. Please help me to help your children see you in a new way, Lord. And to the one who is watching and listening, please bless them, their surroundings, their lives, their homes, their loved ones, their friends, everybody connected to them, Lord. I ask that you would continue to speak to them, to grow them, Lord, to show them your face, Father. Excuse me. Knowing that we are never alone and that you are with us through all things, on all hands. And so, Lord, thank you for helping me realize that more and more. And thank you for really sitting with me, Lord, and just touching my heart. I'm grateful. I'm just grateful. Thank you for your growth. Thank you for what you've started to do in my life. Thank you for being here and for always answering me time and time again. You are my best friend, Lord, Father. And I am very excited to do this episode with you. And so, Lord, I ask that you would dwell my space and my inhabitation, and that you would just give your children what you would love for them to hear. And it is in your grace, no, well, in your grace, but in your name we give thanks and pray. Glory be to God. In Jesus' name, amen. Babes. Babes. Sorry, I did not have this open, and so I am so sorry. Okay, so hello, 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 hello. Welcome back, back, baby. Welcome back. I hope you've been well. I hope it's been peaches and greens. Like, I hope life is treating you kind. I hope that, everything is just, everything is good. I just hope you've been well, bro. I hope these bangs get it together too, cause like I sleep with a head wrap on. Nobody cares about this. Let me get on, okay? I don't know. I need to start doing this podcast viewership like I be doing the Pox perspective and just hold y'all. Because, like, the Lord is in the midst of all of it anyway. So I don't know why I don't give y'all grief that much like I do on the Pox perspective. But hello, family, and welcome back, Dandelions. So today, I guess I feel a little silly because it is the final episode of the Real Bible Stories for this season. And this is my season finale. And I always kind of get emotional about season finales and everything. And so I'm going to save my emotional tirade to the end so we could go ahead and jump in. But I really do hope you are well. And so we are going to visit somebody who I have not ever really talked about him. I'm pretty sure I've referenced him, but I haven't hands down talked about him. But he's kind of one of my heroes. Heroes is a strong word, but you know, like, to me, even though this person has some downfall, like, I was still captivated by them, you know, their strength. And like, I guess in the end, you'll see. But this person, in the end, his life served the purpose that God meant for it to serve. And I really hated what he went through, but I feel like his story kind of gives us a valuable insight on like trusting people and like really doing what it is, what God has called you to do, and like trusting people, but also having boundaries, you know, and like being wise about who you trust and how you trust them. It's all really in this book. So without further ado, the person we're talking about tonight is Samson. Now, you may not know, but okay, let me open my Bible first and then I'll get you there. So I'm going to read you we're going to read out of Judges chapter 13. So I'm going to read to you about like how Samson was born. And then I think I'm going to do this one a little different because like going into it, it tells you what I want to tell you. And then I will talk more in depth about what it is I'm trying to convey. So I know I give backstories and we're kind of jumping straight into this one. And I'm so sorry, but know that it is for a purpose. And like, basically, I can't give you his backstory without starting here because this is of vital importance. And so just work with me, follow along. We'll get through this together. Okay, so Judges 13 is the first place we're at. First, I'm going to read you verses 1 through 7. And it says, "And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord delivered them into the hand of the Philistines 40 years. And there was a certain man of Zorah of the family of the Danites, whose name was Manoah, and his wife was barren and bare not. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto the woman and said unto her, Behold now, thou art barren and bearest not, but thou shalt conceive and bear a son. Now therefore beware, I pray thee, and drink not wine nor strong drink, and eat not any unclean thing. For lo, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and no razor shall come on his head, for the child shall be a Nazarite unto God from the womb. And he shall begin to deliver Israel out of the hand of the Philistines. Then the woman came and told her husband, saying, A man of God came unto me, and his countenance was like the countenance of an angel of God, very terrible. But I asked him not whence he was, neither told he me his name. But he said unto me, Behold, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and now drink no wine nor strong drink, neither eat any unclean thing. For the child shall be a Nazarite to God from the womb to the day of his death." Now we're going to move over here to 24. Verse 24 in chapter 13, and it says, "And the woman bare a son, and called his name Samson. And the child grew, and the Lord blessed him. And the Spirit of the Lord began to move him at times in the camp of Dan, between Zorah and Eshtaol. Eshtaol. Okay, now we're jumping straight down to chapter 14. So I'm okay. I'm gonna read it and then I'm gonna go back and tell y'all because I know bits and pieces, but I really want to get these scriptures out to you first. Okay. So next we're gonna go to Judges 14. We're gonna start at 12 and read to 18. And it says, "And Samson said unto them, I will now put forth a riddle unto you. If ye can certainly declare it me within the 7 days of the feast, and find it out, then I will give you 30 sheets and 30 change of garments. But if ye cannot declare it me, then ye shall give me 30 sheets and 30 change of garments. And they said unto him, Put forth thy riddle, that we may hear it. And he said unto them, Out of the eater came forth meat, and out of the strong came forth sweetness. And they could not in 3 days expound the riddle. And it came to pass on the 7th day, they said unto Samson's wife, Entice thy husband, that he may declare unto us the riddle, lest we burn thee and thy father's house with fire. Have ye called us to take that we have? Is it not so? And Samson's wife wept before him and said, Thou dost but hate me and lovest me not. Thou hast put forth the riddle unto the children of my people, and hast not told it me. And he said unto her, Behold, I have not told it to my father nor my mother, and shall I tell it thee? And she wept before him 7 days while their feast lasted. And it came to pass on the 7th day that he told her, because she lay sore upon him. And she told the riddle to the children of her people. And the men of the city said unto him on the 7th day before the sun went down, What is sweeter than honey? And what is stronger than a lion? And he said unto them, If ye had not plowed my heifer, ye had not found out my riddle. This is right on Samson. Okay. The last one I'm going to read to y'all is Judges 16. First, we're going to start verses 1 through 3. And it says, Then went Samson to Gaza, and saw there an harlot, and went in unto her. Scandalous. And it was told the Gazites, saying, Samson is come hither. And they compassed him, and laid wait for him all night in the gate of the city, and were quiet all the night, saying, In the morning when it is day, we shall kill him. And Samson lay till midnight, and arose at midnight, and took the doors of the gate of the city, and the 2 posts, and went away with them, bar and all, and put them upon his shoulders, and carried them up to the top of an hill that is before Hebron. Okay. The last part is verses in the same chapter, verses 28 through 31. And Samson called unto the Lord and said, O Lord God, remember me, I pray thee, and strengthen me, I pray thee, only this once, O God, that I may be once avenged of the Philistines for my 2 eyes. And Samson took hold of the 2 middle pillars which the house stood, and on which it was borne up, of the one with his right hand, and of the other with his left. And Samson said, Let me die with the Philistines. And he bowed himself with all his might. And the house fell upon the lords, and all the people that were therein. So the dead which he slew at his death were more than they which he slew in his life. Then his brethren and all the house of his father came down and took him, and brought him up, and buried him between Zorah and Eshtaol, in the burying place of Manoah his father. And he judged Israel 20 years. So now that I've read it to you, I can give you some backstory and continue to go on. Okay, so Samson was promised to these parents, right? And this wife was just basically telling her husband, like, look, I got a visitation, and this dude looked like an angel of the Lord. I could be wrong, but I'm gonna just tell you what he said to me. So she proceeds to tell her husband what he says, that, they're gonna have this baby. And so when they have this baby, of course they have like specific restrictions, you know. Well, the only restriction she had was that she couldn't eat anything unclean or drink wine. And when the child was born, he was not to let any razor come up on his head. Now, y'all, Samson is so funny to me because Samson ended up wanting a Philistine wife. I'm gonna say Philistine. And he was not supposed to want that because they are not God's children. Like, they are not part of the list at the time of people who could have been married. Like, they were not on the bridal party. And Samson was not caring. Samson was like, bump all of that, all right? Like, this is the wife that I want. And so his parents were kind of just like, for real, Samson? And he was like, for real. But he ends up taking this lady, right? And his first wife. And she is the one who, like, the people are like, if you do not tell us what is happening or whatever, like this riddle that, okay, so let me back up. Samson wants a Philistine wife. So they end up going, thank you, Jesus, traveling to this place, right, to find her. And Samson ends up killing this this lion. And when he killed the lion, but his parents didn't know about this, okay? He killed the lion, and there was some honey on the inside of the lion when he tore like the exterior, and there was honey on the inside of the lion. And so the riddle that I read to you, that is what he was referencing to, what had happened, because not even his parents had knew. And that's why he told the girl, like, I didn't even explain this to my parents. Like, they don't even know about this situation, but you want me to tell your people like what had happened. And so, you know, after he goes and gets the bride, like I just say, there's conflict because in this feast, they basically are the whole purpose, really, not the whole purpose, but it seems like the whole theme really of Samson's story, outside of like everything he was doing, was that people just wanted to destroy him because he was strong and he was powerful, and like he was truly a son of God. Like, you know, God had his hand upon him. He was watching over him and protecting him, and he was so strong, like nobody could beat him in his wisdom or in his strength. And so they're telling his wife, like, if you don't do this, we're gonna burn you up. And so she's crying, she's weeping, and finally it breaks Samson down, and he tells her, because I mean, let's not sit here and act high and mighty. I mean, I hope you do know and realize, like, people can wear you down like that, and they can keep pestering you and bothering you and grieving your spirit, bro, until it's just like, here, take what you came for and go, Roberta. But so when they tell him the riddle, he's like, if y'all wasn't messing around with my main squeeze, y'all wouldn't have knew nothing, Jack. But after this, he don't even get his wife back. They give his wife to his so-called friend. They give his wife to his friend, right? Samson goes off. He destroys the town, all right? He was setting like fire to the rain. I feel like Samson was calling down fire and brimstone from heaven. It was wild. And so after that, you know, he leaves. And then, bro, I can't help but laugh thinking about, like, he was at this harlot's house. Forget that. I'm not even caring about that. It was the part that when he came out of the city gates, he took basically the entrance in the fortress, like brass and all, like gate and all, and put it on his shoulder, bro, and was like, skadeedle. That is so funny to me. Like, who just does that? Who just takes stuff like that and carries it on top of their shoulder up a hill? Like, for what, Samson? That was him, okay? That was him. And so after this, what I didn't read was like the whole thing about him and Delilah, because basically, I'm gonna break it down for you. So Samson, he meets this prostitute named Delilah. She's beautiful, right? She's beautiful. He just has to have this lady, and she just has to have him for her people. And so they get intertwined, right? They get very well acquainted with one another. And so she's pressing him and asking him ways he can be defeated. So Samson ain't really telling, he keep lying to her pretty much, jokingly telling her other ways, like, I don't know if I should say jokingly, but I guess, because it was still a lie. But in the play, I don't know, Lord. Well, the point is, he was lying to homegirl, all right? It wasn't right. But weird was Samson, he was lying to her and not telling her the truth of how he got his strength and like where it came from. And like it would be one of those things where he would tell her, then she would try his bottom line, and he would always come out on top. And he was doing well. He had a great run at it. Until the last time he really told her the truth, because she once again was pressing him like his first wife. But the problem here was he ended up really liking Delilah. Like, she put it on him. I cannot say that in any other way that is not conveying, like, that is the, all right? She whipped that thing on. I don't know what you, don't be mad at me. It was in the Bible. He got weak for it. All right, whatever, skirt. But he finally tells her like his weakness, and she goes and tells the people, and like it is so. It's his hair. So his strength came from the Lord, but his hair was a symbol of it. And as long as his hair grew, like that's how his strength multiplied. And I especially think that is so like beautiful in itself, because there is the scripture in the Bible where it talks about how the Lord, I think it's in Isaiah, I'll stamp it here, but the Lord like even knows the amount of hairs on your head. And like every strand of hair was giving Samson strength, which is wild. But so they bound him up with like brass and feathers, they cut his hair off, they pluck his beard, take this man eyeballs, like he got done dirty. And they ended up putting him, tying him up and like putting him between these two pillars in this like royal house, bro. And like the people in the royal house, the lords and the ladies, they're dancing around, like making Samson put on a show basically for them, which that in itself is cruel. Because like, why are you going to, you simply took this strong man and degraded him and broke him down, and then put him in public for other people to behold, like his weakness that y'all could only get through paying somebody else. Like you couldn't even go out and get it yourself. Now, honestly, you had to scheme and use somebody else. It really gets me heated thinking about like how he got done. Because it's just, I really do not like injustices. And especially in his case, because if they would have never used Delilah to whippersnap him, he would have been fine. But at the same time, I cannot blame solely them and Delilah, because he knew better himself. Like, that was a secret from him, and the Lord. Like, sometimes you just gotta keep your mouth shut. Don't be telling people everything the Lord is doing for you, how he moving you, how he like setting you up for success. Don't let these people know that that's your and God's secret. Now, I ain't saying like if you want to give advice or help people along the way, fine. But if it's pertaining to you and like personal things about you, especially if the Lord is like, put a lid on it, Patrick. But so Samson, in his weak state, he can't see nothing. He's holding on to these poles. These people are making a mockery of him. And he's like, Lord, listen, pull the final curtain, because baby boy, this ain't it. Like, I am ready to come home to you. Stop playing these games with me. And he's like, let me avenge myself. Let me avenge myself in front of these people, Lord, and take some of them with me. And so, y'all, Samson had already been wrecking ship and knocking people off left and right since he was born and like old enough to do so. He'd be taking people out. But the Lord gave him strength. And I think too, people, they don't listen, and they forgot something crucial, which was good for them. But it was good for them that they didn't listen. Well, good for Samson, but bad for them. And the reason why I say that is, though they bound him up and did shave his head, his hair started to grow back. So it was like, y'all kept this man here in the middle of the court, And y'all forgot the logic that like his hair is his strength. Well, y'all thought he was gonna stop being strong because y'all gave him a buzz cut. Beyond me, okay, release us. But so he prays to the Lord, right? And the Lord is like, I got you, boo. And so yeah, Samson, he takes his, from what I always imagine in my mind when they say he bowed himself, is like, he had these two pillars and he just, you know, pushed it all in, brought the house down. People was laughing. They didn't even know they was about to perish, all right? And he took out all these Philistines, the top floor, the bottom floor, the surrounding area. Like, he took out a good group of people. He himself was taken out. But I believe that Samson, in the end, like, he is with the Lord because the Lord knew he was going to do that and he was avenging himself. And I can't judge. I don't know where he is. But I'm believing that, like, in his last hurrah, he got it right with the Lord and he was able to come home. Okay. And so that is Samson's story. Now, I'm myself, like Samson and many other names in the Bible, have asked the Lord of his wisdom. I seek to know him in all things. He is my Father, friend, and creator. I want him to guide me, even in my thoughts, and lead me. I ask for these things, yet when he slows me down or goes his own way, I get sometimes confused and worried. I am the type of person where I want to do things on my own. I am a big girl, so I seek my independence like any other. I loved working because I had the funds to buy what I wanted. I had a car to drive me where I wanted to be. I was living a life dedicated to getting what I wanted and when I wanted it. I can see now my downfall. And so I have searched and I've always sought the Lord, but I feel like now this version of me that's seeking the Lord, it's so much different than how I sought him before. And really before in my life, I can truly see like a lot of things that I took for granted. And I never even realized at the time that I was taking them things for granted. Now, to be very blunt, something that I don't really talk about on the channel much, and I don't know why I'm talking about it tonight, but hello. When I came back from Korea, I never got employed again. I mean, it seemed like there was always something, or like people just didn't approve my like applications. And I don't know, it's just wild to me. Like, you go to this 4-year university, you get in depth with, your money and stuff, and like they can't even give you a job. Or if they do give you a job, it's like $2 and they mad at you because you don't want to work a full-time job for 2 hours and you don't want to clock in overtime for those $2, and it's just one of those things where it has been hard for me to learn how to ask for help and to like depend on other people, because I don't necessarily like doing that. Like, since I've been able to work and truly afford things that I want, I would rather be able to help the ones around me than to ask for help. I'm very independent. Like, I like doing things on my own. I lost my car as well when I came back. And so I used to do things like just get in my car and go for a drive, or, like go to the store to get something to eat or snack on, just simply because I could. And so now, not having those things, you realize like what you've taken for granted. You know what I'm saying? Like, these years have passed. And I think too, you grow more appreciative, because I've certainly complained about some jobs, okay? And I mean, the money ended up being worth it, especially, well, Lord, I'm gonna be very honest with you. Worth it in the sense of I could do what I wanted to do. But even the job that I had before I went to Korea, though technically I was making, it wasn't worth what I was making. Like, I've said this before, but teachers on any capacity, I just feel like honestly they should be paid more for what they do and how they contribute, what we do, because I'm a teacher too, but how we contribute to the world. But really the point I'm trying to make from this is, when I was working, I was able to splurge on myself, to splurge on anything. And now it's different, and I have had to learn to really truly trust God and depend on the Lord. Like, for everything that I need, for like my necessities, for just everything, he truly has to open up the doors to bless me for that now. And I'll tell you, it has been very eye-opening and a little wild, I suppose, to watch how, we always say like, oh, the Lord will show up and he'll meet your needs. But I guess truly seeing him show up and meet my needs for the past 2 years since this whole ordeal started, it has been something of an eye-opener, and I can't explain it, but in my life these past 2 years, I found myself not wanting, well, not needing anything. He meets all my needs, and the stuff that I want, he even gives me some of that sometimes, and I think really the Lord is just teaching me and wanting to teach all of us that he is the way you have to go. Like, you truly have to walk after him and with him if you're saying you're walking with him. And so, yeah, I thought Jesus had blessed me with these jobs and things, but I forgot to depend on him. I viewed the situation as a blessing for my good works. It was simple, a blessing because God saw fit to bless me. I was a stage handler. Okay, for God saw fit to bless me. So yes, going back to what I said, when I got jobs, and if you're like this, it is not that this is the wrong viewing, so I don't ever want you to feel judged or like your viewings is wrong. But let me just shift your perspective a little bit. I used to think that like God blessed me with these big jobs and great opportunities simply because I did something well or I was living right according to his statutes. It was by my works and grace. I didn't realize the keen concept of he blessed me because he's a good father, and he just wanted to bless me with that job, with that opportunity to grow, to expand, to help in some way. And like, yeah, I knew and I prayed to him for these opportunities and stuff, and when I got them, I was grateful to him. But like I said, it fell on me. It was a me. What can I do? How can I do it? And not, well, Lord, how can you help me in this situation? And I can remember, it keeps popping up in my head vividly, but this one job that I had in Houston, I remember I wrecked my car one morning, not paying attention. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was not paying attention, okay? I looked down to change my playlist song, and I put it on this Korean song called Don't Need Your Love. And I needed somebody's love, because when I ran into the back of that truck, my soul could have cried out. It did cry out to the Lord. I was like, Lord, woe is me. And this goes back to last week. Like, I was crying to the Lord to save me from this predicament, but I had did it. There was no saving. Like, you gonna have to go through this and feel this because you should have been paying attention. Like, my mom warned me not to drive close up on other cars and not to have my head down in my phone, and I did. And so it was also a thing too where I was trying to pass up a car or something like that, but I couldn't get over because, yeah, okay, so the car in front of the truck I was behind slammed on their brakes. In return, the truck slammed on his brakes, and I could not, because it was a 2-lane road, but traffic was coming, so it wasn't like I could veer off, because I probably would have got hit on that side. And if I would have went the other way, I would have went into some bushes. And so really, I was just being careless. There's no way around it. And I remember that was one of the first times I really had to depend on God in that job setting, because, I had made this bond that he had formed. And at the time I didn't understand the bond, but this person, she ended up helping me and like being the one that I would get a ride from. And, it's so funny and I guess amazing how the Lord works out relationships in your lives, or how he orchestrates and brings people into your life, and how he brings you into people's lives, and how we're all so interconnected. And so, yeah, just really having those jobs. And if you have a job, just please remember, like, and I shared this with somebody before too, You don't get blessed more because you work harder, or because you burn yourself out, or because you have a gold star for the day. Like, the Lord is not gonna increase you because you're working so hard and, like, putting your back into it. He blesses you and increases you because he can trust you, because you've went through the trial and the tribulation, and he sees your heart and your character, and he knows you're going to handle this new level of your life with the utmost grace and respect. And so please don't ever feel like you have to work harder or be this just perfect human being for the Lord to bless you, because it's not true. We are all guilty of making mistakes, even when we try not to, even when we try to lead a perfect, blameless life. You slip up sometimes, and you don't be meaning to slip up, and this is not like a PSA for everybody to go out and slip up, but it happens. It's life. The Lord accounted for everything that would happen in my life, your life, our life, until the end of time. And when he died on the cross, we were forgiven for everything, the past and the future. And so just know that the Lord is not operating from a place of like, you have to do this and that for me, only for me to bless you. He's not like that. I love what my pastor said. We are not transactional. Don't be transactional with the Lord. Just love on him and let him show you a father's heart and how he truly feels about you. And so I was a stage handler in college. I worked under someone who I had to see past his actions to see him. My boss and I clashed a lot, but before he passed in 2018, I truly believe he was a father to me, and I a daughter to him. The boss was worse. The boss was wise. He taught me things only true professionals knew. He made me get out of my comfort zone. And yes, I increased in knowledge, but I was also tempted and insecure. Okay, so I'm going to pause and talk about this first and move on to the second, because it's two different dynamics. And so there was this person in my college that I had seen this man. We're going to call him Yeti. And really, that's just kind of like an inside name for something he told me, which is just funny. And so yeah, this dude named Yeti, I remember seeing him really when I first became a music major, because he was always in the fine arts building, because he worked the theater, he worked the stage and stuff. And so he seemed like he was always in there setting up a concert or a show or a play or something. And I had knew about him because a girl at the time who was my friend, she worked under him as well. And so after some things went left in my music job, I ended up going to work for him. And y'all, when I first met Yeti, really met him and talked to him, I ain't gonna lie to you, I was not having him. He seemed a little off. I didn't really know how to grasp him. I was kind of all over the place with him. But it was one of those things too where I had really just started working, and I had never had like a male boss, and interactions with men and guys, it was just fleeting for me. And so I started working for him, and he just has some moods and some attitudes and ways. And he had a way about speaking very bluntly, okay? And some of his jokes were a little, but he had a good heart. He really did. And I remember one time he made me the maddest. Twice actually. One time he called me when it was raining. It was very last minute. He was like, "Come do a show." I'm like, "Bro, it's 11 a.m. and you couldn't even give me a warning." And then another time he had showed me how to work the sound booth once. And the next time I came in, he was like, "You're going to run the sound booth." And I'm like, "Who can run the sound booth, bucko?" It was me. I had to run the sound booth. And y'all, I was petrified. I was terrified. I did not know I was going to work that event. It wasn't like he told me the day before, like, "Tomorrow we got an event and you going to work this." He didn't even tell me the day of. I was setting up the stage, opening and closing things. And then this other dude who we're going to name this person Petal. And so Petal came and told me, like, "Yeti wants you to come and see him." So then Yeti was like, "I want you to work the sound booth." And I was just like, "How dare you?" How dare you? And he did things like that. I remember one time he had me on top of the freaking building, bro, the music building. And I did not, we were climbing up these stairs on the inside, first of all. And I was terrified because y'all, like, it was in the attic, like, high up in the building. Like, you know, he had me up there. Like, there was a way you could walk from the inside of the theory all the way up the building, and they just had random stuff stored up there at the top. It was, y'all, I'm telling y'all, it was a it and I don't like heights, so climbing up these small thin rusty steps was not for me, you know. And I was paranoid because he was like, come on, you know, like, you got to get up here too. And so when I got to the top and we went outside, y'all, as afraid as I was, it was really nice to climb those stairs and like see the view, because it was my first time on the building. And so to actually be up there where not a lot of people get to go, it was scary, but it was fun. And so I came to realize, sadly, it was only after he passed that I realized this person was really like a father to me. And, you know, I really kind of hate that back then I didn't know how to understand him better. It took me so much time after he passed to realize what he meant to me, despite our differences and our fightings and our fallings out. You know, like, he gave me opportunities in my life that I wouldn't have been able to have had I not worked for him. I got to be in these festivals, you know, like, I got to meet these people and have these experiences about something that I love to do, about stage handling, about, you know, like, he taught me, y'all, the most beautifulest of things that probably would not excite other people. But like, you know how if you go to a concert or go view any stage and they have these different lights and stuff in different colors, he taught me how to like put the film, like the color glass on them to change it, and how to take those things apart to put the new light in, and like how you have to lower it and pull it up and like do the curtains, and so much stuff that go into it that I didn't even realize he taught me, you know. And even though he had a lot of moments of pushing me out in my comfort zone, it was a blessing in the end, you know. And I just realized, like, in college, he was a safe space for me. He was like a father that the Lord blessed me to have. I just didn't see eye to eye with this man. And, you know, I did really love him. I will always love him in the memory he holds. But yeah, he was really, really special to me. And so when he passed, I kind of took it really, really hard. And he's one of those people where I don't think about him often, but whenever I do think about him, I am just grateful for a connection that I got to have with him. Um, and he was struggling with some things health wise, but I just didn't expect it like that. Like, the way it happened a little bit too soon. And so, anyways, while I was working under Yeti, there was another person working under Yeti named Petal. Now, there was somebody I had became friends with, and he was in a relationship with someone else. This is about to get real scandalous, but listen to the end. A marriage, a marriage ship. This guy and I would have a lot of fun as friends, but lines got blurred. He would react in certain ways, which set me off to react in ways. I had feelings and concerns. I was feeling like David when he saw Bathsheba, okay? Maybe it wasn't the whole scene like bathing and stuff, but I knew what David was feeling. Um, I had confided in my mom, and the advice she gave me, I felt like God Himself had spoken to me. Marriage is a covenant you do not break up. I had a choice to make. I chose God, and in the end, choosing to distance myself from this person. In return, a new worker came, and all the attention he gave me, she now had. I felt kicked down, but I was especially grateful then that I had not went through with my plan. It has been about 6 years since I've spoken to this person, but lo and behold, I saw his icon pop up on my IG story. I felt a lot, you know. Overall, though, I feel joy. I was tempted, I was stressed and depressed, operating from a place of wanting love and refuge. So, Petal, this person I had met in college, he was older than me. Um, and I was captivated by him. He was very attractive to me, and it was one of those things where it started out as we truly were just friends, you know, and like it was one of those things where like, yeah, I thought he was cute, but you know, I kind of kept to myself and was reserved about it. And over the time of me working with him, there started to be moments where the friendliness would kind of turn into flirting. But, and I've made this disclaimer before, and I know it probably seemed like a hill of beans, but I'm for real. A lot of times, I really do not know when a person is flirting with me and when a person is just being friendly with me. And I guess at the same time, even myself, I don't really know when I'm flirting, or I guess like I do know. I do know. But sometimes I can be friendly and it comes off as a way of flirting and it's not like that. But sometimes it definitely is like that. And so with him, I did not know if it was a thing of like, he was really giving me signs and wonders, or I was just making signs and wonders up out the blue. Like I did not know for the longest time. And I would confide into my best friend, who's still my best friend now, and tell her like about the things going on between us. And like, you know, I could never really figure him out. And so one day I was working on this float with Yeti. This was like the last festival we did together. This was really a couple of months before he passed, actually. And so I was working on this float. It was my second year working for him and working on this float. No, this was still within my first year. Was this? Yes. And so I had this purple hair, this purple and black weave. It was beautiful. But one night, it was like late in the evening, and we were finishing up work, doing stuff like putting these lights on the truck, just doing all this fancy stuff, right? And so Pedal, he and I had been talking and like playing around, you know, and of course I'm like letting stuff roll over my head because on top of me not knowing what signs he's giving, once again, I'm also very insecure about my weight. And so to me, nobody should be looking at me for any purpose of anything other than friendship, because in my mind, I didn't look like nothing but a sack of potatoes. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have struggled with self-love and like body positivity for a while. And so this was one of those seasons where I just did not like my body. And so we were playing around and talking, and he ends up pulling my hair and he sings this song called How Do You Want It? And so if you don't know the song, I ain't gonna just bust it all out on here, but the song says, how do you want it? How do you feel? Then there's some more colorful lyrics in there. You just gonna have to look up for yourself. But y'all, it sent me off because when he pulled my hair, he came up from behind me and like grabbed my hair and like kind of, you know, pulled my head. And I don't know, I think to my lack of like experience in that department, any little anything, and I can't lie, like that is part of my alley, Lord. I'm just be honest. That's part of the things that's on the list for to try with the husband, of course. But my husband, point is, he did that, and he sang that song and walk off laughing. And the reaction it like elicited in me was so strong that I was frustrated for a couple of days. And I was frustrated in a lot of ways. I didn't understand what I felt because more and more over time, that one was the boldest of things he had done to me, but he had did little things to me. And because I just want to be very cautious about putting this one into the air, because it really pertains to me, and it's one of those things where like I don't want to give away my secrets. But I went back and watched this video of this interaction between us, and for the first time in my life, I was able to see how he baited me into something which at the time seemed so innocent, and I didn't even notice it until now, after I've learned myself, after the Lord has talked with me and revealed things to me. And it's just so funny because it wasn't until the Lord showed me another situation on the different spectrum that I was able to connect the dots. And at the time, and this situation happened like a few weeks ago, and at the time I could not understand why that situation happened, and it stressed me out so much because I was like, why is this happening, Lord? Like, why would this happen at this time of all times? But it was from that situation that I was able to grasp, and I really believe the Lord told me certain things about myself and like how to be careful when I move in ways. The Lord will tell you how to be careful when you move in ways. And so back to pedal, that night, I had to call my mom because I'm not gonna lie to you, I never try to be holier than thou, and I know I've said some stuff already on here in many podcasts, but y'all, I'm be very blunt. I wanted this dude, like I wanted him bad, and I think it was especially worse because once again, I ain't never known a man. I done made this promise to God, but this dude, I was like, the flesh is fighting me, and the flesh would be fighting me hard. Like I said, I don't know if this person knew. I feel like they did, but like I say, I battled a lot. Like I wanted this person really, really bad. And it was even more frustrating because it was the type of thing where he would kind of talk to me in front of his friends, but also kind of not. But I also think that feeds into the fact of he had a wife and he knew what he was doing wrong. And so please be very careful of any guy who does not treat you the same in front of his friends and family, and outside of his friends and family. Like if he's going to treat you different or behave differently with you, you need to watch it. And I think a lot of times now in hindsight, Yeti probably was trying to save me because he would talk about his wife, Pedal's wife. And at the time I took it as like a jab at me, like, or like, oh, like he's married. But now I kind of feel like it was more like, I'm reminding both of y'all, not just her, but you too, you have a wife. Like, stop doing this. And so the reason why I say that is because after this happened, you'll be, like I said, my mama, she told me, she was like, look, baby girl, I'm gonna just be very blunt and honest with you. You do not want to break up a marriage. And that was the main thing that kept me from moving on him. I did not want to be responsible for breaking up anybody's home because I take marriage as serious. Like to me, that is the ultimate covenant with God. And, like I've never really known a lie in my life about this whole Jesus thing, but I know certain things are sacred. And to me, that is one of the things. And so even as a girl who did have a boyfriend who cheated on her, I just wouldn't want to put nobody through that, And it was another thing too, like I said, it was my first time. It wasn't like I would have known what I was doing. And I just didn't want to get caught up in all of that. And it just seemed like such a messy situation to get involved and tangled in. And so I did my best to put distance between me and that person, like to kind of beat myself right and get it together. Well, the next year, after we came back from summer vacation, there was a new girl working there. And Petal went from caring about me to caring about this girl. And the attention that he gave her was the attention that he used to give me. But he started icing me out as if I was the problem, and he was always spending time under her. And it kind of made me see how, like, attention is fleeting too, and people are fleeting. They'll want something from you sometimes. Not everybody's like this, but some people, they want things from you and they want to use you to benefit them. And like when they get from you what they can get from you, they discard you, And so this is why this makes me think of Samson. Like, you truly have to be careful who you let in your life and who you let love on you and who you tell about your dreams and your aspirations and like about your traumas and who you let know the intimate parts of you, because people will use that against you in the worst of ways, and you'll be the one left feeling like upset and depressed and bad about the outcome of this because you let this person in, and of course you had good intentions and you wanted to love them, and grow a bond with them. Just be careful with who you grow bonds with, because you can have friends for years who just end up flipping scripts on you, and you're like, excuse me. But remember, with all things, we are not wrestling against flesh and blood, okay? Against principalities, high places, all right? And so, like I was saying on here, I was telling my bestie, I don't look at my stories on Instagram. Like once I post something, a story or something, I don't really care to look at who looks at the story. Okay, I want people to look at the story, but I don't actively go and watch who was viewing my story. But this particular day, I ended up going to look and see, and it wasn't even really to view my story. I wanted to see myself because I liked the picture I took. I thought I looked really, really nice. I ain't gonna hold you. And I noticed that like people who had saw Petal was one of the persons in the lineup, and emotionally it set me off. I was crying. I was ready. Well, I wasn't crying, but I was big mad because like this was a person who I had wanted to be a friend above all else. And I thought like even with everything that had went on, you know, when I was graduating college, I really thought that him and a couple of other people and I would stay in contact. I did the best I could to reach out, talk to people, you know, try to make people feel seen, but nobody was really trying to make me feel seen. And so, you know, I've come to a point in my life, and even then I was coming to a point where I am not gonna force you to talk to me, to stay in my life, to stay in my corner if you don't want to be here. Like, if you can't check up on me, check in for me the way I do you, and you can't at least, because I have come to the point where also I don't want my actions and reactions to be contingent on other people. I just want to react and move because it's the right thing to do it because, you know, I care for people. But at the same time, I'm not about to keep sticking my limbs out here for you to run over them and you not reciprocating nothing. So, yes, you can be loving on people and love them and have grace and kindness with them. But if they keep messing up or doing wrong, or they make it plainly known to you that, like, through their actions and stuff, that they don't want to be bothered, don't bother these people. Let them bother themselves and be done. And so he was there. And, you know, for as mad as I got because of all the things I didn't understand about it, part of me felt like as well, because I just feel like not even for him looking at me, other than the fact that like he has to see this transformation of me. You know, I am not the same girl that I was in college, mentally, emotionally, physically. Like I am so much different from, you know, who I was. And so, you know, to me, for him to see that testament of me and to see like what I turned out as, it was a great feeling because I'm pretty sure nobody, and I mean nobody, because not even me expected me to be here on this farm. Everything about my life is different, you know, and so like, yeah, I was high pressed, but when the Lord truly makes people remember you and watch you and see like the Lord is real, he does speak through his children. Let him boast in you, boast yourself in the Lord. Let the Lord show you off, because he will. And he will cause people to be like, because I'm telling you, I was 2 baked potatoes and a bag of fries, bro. It was rough out here in the land of the living. But, you know, the Lord has healed me and restored me, and he has made my life so much beautiful. So if people want to come back and look and see, yeah, it is well, you know, like for all the pain that I endured behind this person emotionally, you know, playing with my feelings, making me feel like a friend, making me not feel like a friend, ignoring me at social events where we work together, you know, but wanting to talk to me and pull on my hair and stuff when people are not around, you know, just this yo-yo of constant feelings, icing me out when you get a new friend around, but when she's gone and like I'm the only one around, suddenly you want to go back to how things were. So don't let people play with your emotions like that. You know, if you want a friend and he or she ain't being friendly to you and they keep making you feel like there's a hanging on of something else, clarify it or like let it go. Because it's just dangerous to play with the affairs of your heart, because then you get feelings and notions and everything gets messy. And I'm not saying that like things can't be worked out, but if you don't make it clear what you are and what dynamic you're going for, I just feel like in general stuff like that gets very messy very fast. But in his situation, in our dynamic, I knew exactly what was happening. You know, he was married, and like even sometimes, even where I thought that maybe he flirted, I'm not gonna lie to you, I did flirt back in those moments where I assumed he could have been flirting. But then looking back, I was like, well, was this me? Was this him? Was it us? I mean, I was still part to blame because I was flirting too. But at the same time, as gullible as I was set up for a lot of things in life that I just didn't know about till after the fact. But yes, I didn't think Okay. The Lord has welcomed me home now, so I sit at his feet with all the love and protection I could ever need. I didn't think my notes would end me up here, but I have pondered of the Lord why he allowed me to experience these moments and to see him see me. I don't check my story view much, so the way it all played out left me perplexed. God had to set the stage of my heart and life. There has been challenges, changes, ups and downs, but now when the ones from my past see the curtains opening, we will all know the truth. The Lord has prepared and set my stage on my behalf. He is doing the same for all of us. We are a family. Let's believe and behave like one. And so, you know, just wrapping up what I said, we are a family. At the end of the day, when people make you mad, even the ones that stress you out the most, they are your family. We are just human. And I was telling my brother this, you just gotta let people be people, okay? At the end of the day, we are simply humans. We are just all people. And the moment you just learn to let go and let these people do them while you do you, you'll be so much happier. And letting go and letting them do them is not being like, oh, just stop caring about them. But give people the grace and mercy to live their life like you have been living your life and you're out here thriving and surviving. Let these people be great and don't be out here beefing with everybody about everything, because there's a better way to do stuff, okay? But as we draw this final episode to a close, there is so much I want to say. And so the first thing is, I talked about this testimony because when I was younger, I did not really see where my life was going. I was big, I was unhappy. I did not even know at the time if I was going to graduate college. I had a lot of wants and a lot of dreams and a lot of things that I desired, but it just seemed like I never truly really got what I wanted. Even in this period of my life, I wanted a boyfriend, but I didn't know how to love. I didn't know how to love myself. I didn't know how to be loved, okay? I didn't know any of that. And so this was the first situation that I ever had to deal with, like, temptation from a married man. And, that's why, like, when I be reading about David and them, I be like, how scandalous. I didn't even know that this was happening back then. Because truly, I feel like sometimes in life we go through things that's just a repeat of what they went through, and we don't. And that's why I really wanted to start the Real Bible Stories, because we are more like our older generations than we realize, and a lot of situations that we have went through in life, the Lord shows you in the Bible how to deal with this stuff and how you can avoid. And a lot of these stories, if these are like caution letters, like this is what happened because they got caught slipping. But even in that, there's still grace and mercy and protection from the Lord and the righting of wrongs and getting your heart together. And so, it was one of those things where, like, even though I knew I shouldn't be doing that, and like my mind was kind of trying to click and my flesh was like, but we do be wanting to do that, like the Lord was still with me. And truly it says, like the Lord, he always gives us this is a scripture, I'm gonna have to go look this up, but he always gives us a way of fleeing from temptation. When we are tempted, he always provides an escape route. There we go. And he did, he always did. And so just truly really listen to the Lord and let him guide you, because you can get caught up in things so quick and you won't be thinking nothing about it. And y'all, I'm telling you, sometimes them enemies be tricky. They be cunning. And before you know it, you've been hoodwinked and you're like, wait a minute, I didn't even see this coming, Lord. Yeah, because you were not on your P's and Q's. But know that in everything, like, the Lord will see you through and he will protect you if you seek him, And like I say, I really feel like the Lord, ain't even no feeling. I know the Lord got me through that situation. He kept me and guided me, and he didn't allow me to do something that would jeopardize my future. And at the time, I was really, really upset that, like, I was tempted by this married man, especially because he was married. And I'm like, I can't do anything with this, And like I said, he was fine to me. I ain't gonna sit here and tell you he wasn't, because the point is, fighting that was very hard for me at the time, because that day, like I say, it was just kind of like the apocalypse for me. And really, I'm grateful to my mom and my best friend, because they were both kind of like, my mom is my best friend, but both my best friends was like, no, 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 no. I said no, and it was kind of one of those things where they were like, you cannot be alone with this man. Like, you need to always find an adult before you get around him. And so, even that as well, though, we were young, and like, even him, I'm not gonna hold anything against him. I don't know why he did the things he did, but and I don't ever have to know, because he probably won't ever watch this or want to tell me or anything like that or apologize. But he doesn't need to, because the point is, I may not have all the answers, but I know that God saw fit for me to go through that, and I know that He saw fit for me to go through that because it happened. But just like I am older, so is this person, and so I don't ever want to cast blame on somebody or like, just make it seem like the worst of this person, because we are all still God's children. And even Petal, like, I still have a heart for him. Like, I hope he's great in life wherever he be at, and I love him because Jesus told me to love him, and I want the best for everybody in life, even the ones I'm not talking to, even the ones who have in some way done me wrong. And I've done people wrong too, and so just, you have to be so careful with holding grudges and like being upset with people, because I didn't realize that I was still like bitter at him until this happened, and I was like, we need to let this go immediately. And now I feel like this is the Lord confirming to me, like, yes, baby, you are healing, my child. And so really too, just a few things to tell you. Thank you so much for always viewing the Real Bible Stories, for watching it. Whenever you do watch it, I don't know, I just feel like I can't see it, but I really do think that this is gonna touch so many people's lives, and that's what I'm hoping for. I always want to lead you to Jesus and just show you a better way of doing things, because there is a better way to live life instead of warring and beefing with these people all the time. Like, you can live a life and have a great one. And so, just thank you for always listening to me. And I wanted to share this a couple of weeks ago, but I held it specifically to the finale. Sometimes the Lord speaks to you very bluntly and directly in dreams, and He will tell you exactly what He meant about a situation. And it may manifest itself differently in your life, but know that the Lord does speak through dreams. I had this experience myself where, like, there was literally about 3 dreams that came true back to back to back. And at the time, I did not understand the chess pieces, because in real life, the pieces were different. They were so much different than in my dream. But when I got to thinking about it, it was the familiarity of the pieces that I was like, oh, I see what you did there. So I just want this to be a confirmation to somebody that the Lord does speak to you in dreams. You're not crazy. You heard that man, okay? You saw what He wanted you to see. It is a dream. And sometimes you have to hold on to it. And please be very careful who you share your dreams with and who you tell your stories to, because not everybody is going to be understanding or very happy about your stories. Like Samson and Delilah, you really got to be careful who you let in your heart, because sometimes people don't want to see you doing better than them. And, sometimes people just want to use you and hurt you. And once again, we are not warring against flesh and blood, but that is who them spirits use. They go into the flesh and blood. So you just will not overshadow that person before they know it. And then, it's just a bad situation for everybody. And so just be encouraged. You're going to be well. You're going to live this life well. And really, truly, slow down. Take your time to live life. We want everything fast, and that has been my dynamic for these past few weeks. Go slow. It does not always feel good to go slow, but just, you should always believe the Lord is preparing you for something. He's guiding you. He's expanding you for some reason. So know, if you have not gotten your moment and like the Lord hasn't let you drop the mic on these people yet, He is probably very well still setting your stage. And while He's setting your stage, you're sweeping off things and cleaning up and getting ready for the opening day, and so get out of His way Stop trying to do everything for the Lord, because the Lord is the one doing the things for you, okay? Let him get his job done, and you be a good daughter or son, and like sit at his feet and just be patient and let him do it, because he know what he doing. This is for me too, because I can get very in his way. And like, y'all, real quick, one of the funniest dreams I can ever remember having as a kid was there was this battle going on, right? And it seemed like it was a battle in heaven. And I remember it seemed like there was clouds all around me, but this part where I was running on was kind of like a little golden road, maybe. And so it was two sides, and like I'm running, and there's two little creatures running to me, and I registered in my mind, these are demons. And like it's funny because I think I was in like like 11 or 12 when I had this dream, somewhere in there. I was very, very young. And I remember I was running, and it was these like two demons running towards me, and they were like black, and they had these little pitchforks. And y'all, as soon as they started running to me, I was petrified, because I was like, it's two of them versus me. Like, what am I gonna do? Y'all, before they could even get to me to fight me, to do anything, I literally was picked up as if I was picked up by the back of my shirt, and I ended up being sat on like this big, large golden brass gate. And, you know, to me, that just symbolized the Lord showing me, like, you're not going to even have to fight this battle. Like, I am fighting your battle, these battles, like, you know. And I was watching a fight from above, not even lifting a finger. And so I say that to say, even in my dream, like the Lord was showing me, I'm the one who's working on your behalf. So just sit here and be well and look cute like you do, okay? And so, yeah, just be encouraged, man. Everything's well. Your life is well. Sometimes things seem a little foggy and we don't always understand the purpose, but I promise you, any situation the Lord has allowed you to go through, he will reveal. If you seek him and really get to know him, and he wants you to know about it, he will tell you why certain things has happened. Like, he is not a silent God. He can be at times, but he speaks in everything he does. Silence in, like, if you ask a question, he may not necessarily answer you then, but he speaks in all things. You just got to listen to him, you know, and you just got to search him and seek him. And so, like I say, more than anything, I just want you to know, for this season, to wrap up everything that I've tried to drill into you, is you're not anything but human. We're gonna fail. So please stop trying to make yourself perfect. Don't spend your life trying to be perfect. Just spend your life healing and being the best version of you, and letting the Lord clean you out and walk with you and talk with you. And, you know, trust him. Don't be afraid to chase after him, even when it's scary, even when you don't know what's gonna happen. The Lord got you. And if he's with you, that's all you need. That's all you need. He can overtake any demon, any giant, anything. He's won it all. He's conquered it all. The Lord is your best friend. He's your father. He's, you know, your safe space. So, you know, it'll be a bit before I'm back here, but I'm just believing, you know, that so much will happen, that we get to talk about the Lord together and just revel in his goodness a little bit more. And so thank you so much for rocking it out with me. If you did enjoy, please kiss me with the like button. Please comment and tell me about a time in a life where you felt like the Lord set your stage, or if you feel like, you know, he got you still sweeping off these dusty stairs, and, you know, like he trying to do some light fixtures in your place, you know, like what's happening. Please subscribe. Please hit the bells for notice. I thought I was going to cry, but I see that I'm doing much more well than I thought. But this season really just felt like a special season to me. And I don't know. I'm very grateful to be able to do this with you and for you. And so I really hope that I could help increase your knowledge, because once again, I truly believe the Lord orchestrated all of this. This was nothing I really desired to do, especially at this time in the morning. But I love the Lord. I love my Father so much. And so I do anything he asks me to do willingly. And like I say, I tell these stories. They're very scandalous and eye-opening, but you'll get all the stories if it's going to help you. So if you can take anything away from me, it is, don't be too hard on yourself. Please always love yourself. Trust and believe in yourself, and trust and believe in the Lord above all things else, because he will lead you and guide you into a land flowing with milk and honey. So Thank you for another season. Thank you for being with me. And as always, do please remember the Lord does love and bless you. May He keep you. I believe in you. I love you. And I hope whenever you view this, you have an amazing night or incredible day. Goodbye, guys.